What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC 292. We got Aljamain Sterling going against Sean O'Malley.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back for another betting breakdown video this week, breaking down a very, very good card in UFC 292, headlined by Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley, and then the co-main event, which I'm really looking forward to, Zhang Weili going against Amanda Lemos. Two title fights on the line. Really looking forward to it. Looking forward to breaking down this card from a betting perspective and a betting perspective only. If you want a further, more in-depth breakdown on why I like which fighter, on why I'm betting what, I did post a full card breakdown and prediction video at this point like a week ago. And yeah, I did do some live streams throughout the week as well, so be sure to check those out. Before we get started, a couple things. I'm bringing back the prop contest. We did it last month for UFC 291. To enter this contest, first, leave a like on the video. Second, make sure you are subscribed. And then third, comment down your best plus money prop. For example, say it's Marlon Vera round 3 plus 1600. Make sure you put the prop and the odds, so I don't have to go and research the odds myself. But yeah, make sure you guys comment down those props. We'll see who can win. Last time out, I think it was Jake Matthews sub 2 that one, which was around plus 800, 1,000 around there. But yeah, last month somebody hit Jake Matthews round 2 sub, so we'll see if somebody hits this week. So comment down those props. Other than that, going to be going live Saturday, fight day, for best bets. Going to be going live an hour or two before the prelims, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on all of that. But yeah, this is a card that I do like from a betting perspective. A lot of spots are really sticking out. It's one of those cards where I'm taking a lot of plus money props, a lot of big shots props here, a lot of like massive, like if some of these hit, it could be a massive night, and I'm going to get a lot wrong. I mean, that's what typically happens when you take a lot of long shots, but it doesn't take a lot to get right to go out there and have a great night. So taking a lot of long shot props. I have 19 bets, most of those being sprinkles. I'm only laying juice, I think, on 2 of those bets. So yeah, looking for a lot of plus money spots this week. So with all that out of the way, I say we get right into it, and we're going to talk about Karina Silva, Marina Moroz to kick off the fight card. And right off the bat, I have way too much action on this fight. Way too much action on this fight. I'm actually very uncomfortable with the amount of action I have on, if I'm being completely honest. But the spots I do have, I do like. So first and foremost, I mean, this is a Karina Silva fight, which means, I do like violence. Karina Silva, 20 professional fights. She has seen the judges' scorecards only once in those 20 fights. Karina Silva's seen a third round once in the last 10 years. I mean, she's somebody that gets in and gets out. I think very early on in this fight, in the first round, she's going to be very dangerous, but as the fight goes on, I do expect her to fade like we've seen her fade before, and I think Moroz is going to be very live for a finish in the second or third. So first and foremost, I like the under. I know a lot of people like the over because Moroz is typically very durable, and she's not really a finisher, but, Karina Silva is a killer-be-killed fighter, and I typically like attacking violence in those spots. So I like the under. I have 1 unit on that at plus 110, and then I also sprinkled the Marina Moroz 2 and 3 props. Moroz round 2, it was like plus 1,800. I missed out on that, but plus 1,300 I got it at for a quarter unit, and the Moroz round 3 plus 2,000 for a quarter unit. And then another spot that stuck out, which, like I said, I have way too much action on this fight, but I was expecting the decision only for Moroz to be something like minus 200. And I saw it at minus 113 on Bet Rivers, so I had to play that. I mean, it's a line that I think is just plain out wrong. Does it hit? I'm not sure, but the decision only, for those of you that don't know, because it did confuse a lot of people because I don't typically bet this, the decision only is like the complete opposite of the scorecards no action or the finish only. So if the fight finishes, the decision only is voided. That bet is on BetParks, Bet Rivers, Unibet, DraftKings, so on and so forth. So on DraftKings, it's minus 125. Like I said, I was expecting minus 200 because Karina Silva is a minute loser. She's going to be losing minutes on the feet. She's going to be losing minutes on the ground. If Karina Silva wins this fight, I do think it's inside the distance. So not only do I like the under, I think the decision only for Marina Moroz is another spot that stuck out. I took way too long on that fight. Let's move on, but it's a big part of my night. 4 units total on that fight. Next, we have Natalia Silva going against Andrea Lee. Nothing here. I think Silva kind of wins. I think Silva wins, but I kind of hate the price tag. She's sitting at minus 330. Very popular parlay piece. If you're looking for a winner, I guess throw in your parlay. I won't be doing that, but I think Natalia Silva wins nonetheless. I think she probably wins by decision, but no interest in betting this fight. Next, we got Andre Petroski going against Gerald Meerschaert. This is one of those fights where there's so many potential outcomes that I just want to stay away from it. You know, like I could see so many different things happening in this fight, and that's your typical Gerald Meerschaert fight, right? But I could see a Andre Petroski first round knockout. I could see a Petroski second or third round TKO. I could see a Petroski first, second, or third round sub. I could see a Gerald Meerschaert second or third round sub. I could see a Petroski. Like, I could see so many different outcomes that I just want nothing to do with it. I was kind of looking at Petroski KO1. I think that could be in play, but, you know, don't love the price tag on that. And then obviously Gerald Meerschaert props round 2 and round 3. Those are always in play, but the books are getting wise to that at this point. We're not getting extremely crazy numbers to where I want to take a shot on those. So I might look at it from a live bet situation, but even then, I'm not too excited about it. So I'm going to be passing on this fight. I think violence is a good look, but it's juiced up there to minus 280, something like that. So it's a pass for me on this fight, but I think it's a very good fight nonetheless. Next, we got Brad Katona going against Cody Gibson. Not a ton of interest in these tough fights, especially this one in particular. This is one of those fights where I was kind of looking at like the finish only of Cody Gibson, but they are definitely all over it. I think I saw finish only for Cody Gibson around minus 160, minus 170, so no way I'm touching that. I think Brad Katona probably goes out there, makes this kind of boring to be honest, and wins this fight via decision. Brad Katona by decision plus 105, not good enough for my liking. I think Brad Katona does get it done though. Just no interest in betting this first tough fight. And then honestly, I didn't have a ton of interest in betting this next tough fight, but they threw out a line that really shocked me. So in this fight, I do like the overs. I know the overs are very popular plays here. The fight goes, but the finish only for Kurt Hollabaugh, plus money, plus 108. I put a unit on that. I mean, I had to bet it. Kurt Hollabaugh finish only. I mean, it's simple as this. One of these guys is a finisher, and one of these guys is not at all. Austin Hubbard is not a finisher. 47% finish rate. The second worst finish rate, I think, on the entire card, right behind Brad Katona. And we have Kurt Hollabaugh, who is a finisher. I mean, that's all he does. He does finish fights. We saw him on The Ultimate Fighter go out there and finish some fights, right? So Kurt Hollabaugh is dangerous. Austin Hubbard is not. I think if Hubbard wins, it's by decision. I think if Kurt Hollabaugh wins, he probably snatches the neck or something along those lines, because Hubbard has been subbed twice. So, yeah, give me the finish only of Kurt Hollabaugh. I think it probably does push. I think it probably does go to decision, but that was just a line that I had to take advantage of. Moving on, we got Gregory Rodriguez going against Dennis Tuoluen. I have a couple bets here. We talked about big plus money stabs, and this is one of those fights where I'm going to that route. So I have a half unit shot on Gregory Rodriguez by submission plus 225. I have a quarter unit on Rodriguez sub 1 plus 390, and then a quarter unit on Rodriguez sub 2 plus 1100. Rodriguez is a legit black belt in BJJ. This guy's grappling is incredible. The problem is he doesn't use it at all. This is a matchup where if he doesn't use it, I mean, something's wrong, man. I mean, Dennis Tuoluen, his grappling is like the worst I've ever seen. It looks like Dennis Tuoluen has never trained grappling in his life. I mean, this guy gets taken down, and we saw Jung Young Park just style on this guy and finish him on the mat easily. Dennis Tuoluen's been subbed 4 times. He's been subbed 2 times in the UFC. Gregory Rodriguez is going to have a significant advantage on the mat. And not only that, there's an interview with Gregory Rodriguez where he's finally realizing, hey, maybe I shouldn't stand and strike with these hard hitters because I'm getting hurt in every fight and I'm getting knocked out a ton. I'm going to go back to my roots. I'm going to go back to what got me there, which is the jiu-jitsu. So unless Gregory Rodriguez is a liar, he should take this fight down to the mat, and if he does, I think he makes this look easy. Could he knock him out? Obviously. Could he TKO him? Obviously. But, the submission is going to be there all day once he does take this guy down. So give me Rodriguez, sub props, half a unit, sub in general, and then a quarter unit sprinkle on sub 1, sub 2. Moving on, we got Brad Tavares going against Chris Weidman, and I have a couple bets here, a couple sprinkles as well. First and foremost, I have Brad Tavares inside the distance, half a unit plus 120, and then I have a quarter unit sprinkle on the round 2 and 3 knockout props. Round 2 KO, plus 650, round 3 KO, plus 1300. This reminds me a lot of the Bobby Green-Tony Ferguson fight last month, where a lot of people were picking Tony Ferguson for some reason, and I said all week, I was like, I think Tony Ferguson's done. I don't think he has anything left, and Bobby Green went out there and did what I expected, which was finish Ferguson, but I didn't expect him to submit. Ferguson was so done that Bobby Green submitted Ferguson, which nobody thought. It's kind of the same thing here. I think Weidman's done. I think he's been done for a while. He hasn't had an impressive performance since 2017. As far as I'm concerned, it's 2023 now, and he's coming back after a terrible, terrible injury, a long, long layoff. He's now 39 years old, and what did it for me was at the press conference and at Media Day, Chris Weidman said that he's going to be champion, which is exactly what Tony Ferguson said. So that just also a sudden just solidified it for me that Brad Tavares not only wins this fight, but probably wins it in spectacular fashion. So I know Tavares is not knocking out anybody, but neither really is Bobby Green. So I think it's kind of the same spot. I think Chris Weidman's done. He's been finishing all 6 of his losses. Weidman's never lost by submission. He's never lost by decision. All 6 of his losses come by knockout. I don't like the cardio of Weidman. I don't like the layoff, the injury. I don't like the fact that he's taken a ton of damage throughout his career. I don't like a lot of things about Weidman in this fight. I'm actually quite shocked that so many people are on him. I mean, if we get the Weidman of old, I mean, sure, he can beat Tavares, but, the Weidman of old has not shown up in 6 years. So give me Tavares here in dominant fashion. KO props 2-3 and inside the distance in general. Moving on, this is a weird one. We have Marlon Vera going against Pedro Munoz. So this is one where the fight goes to decision all week, pretty much, was just juiced so bad. I mean, the fight goes to decision was like minus 250 to go the distance, right? Which you never see that in a fight where there's two, like both these guys, especially Vera, very, very good finishers. Something seems up here to me. It really does. Actually, the fight goes to decision was like minus 300, actually, to like minus 320. Like, it's crazy. So typically, whenever we see these fights that we're like, oh, there's no chance this fight finishes, sometimes it finishes, and sometimes it surprises people, and just something feels off here. Like, everybody is on Marlon Vera. Everybody's parlaying up Marlon Vera. Everybody's straight betting Marlon Vera, which makes no sense, because if Marlon Vera does not finish this fight, how the heck does he look minus 200? Because he's going to lose the first round. Marlon Vera does not show up until the second round starts, and sometimes he doesn't show up to the third. So if Marlon Vera is paying off this price tag like everybody thinks, that means he's probably going to have to finish Pedro Munoz. So, I wasn't going to bet this fight, but I saw these Marlon Vera round 3 prop, which, you should never be getting a Marlon Vera round 3 prop at plus 1,600. I mean, this is a guy that is dangerous. Like, Marlon Vera has won 3 decisions in the UFC, and in all 3 of those decisions, he nearly, destroyed all 3 of those guys. I mean, all 3 of those fights very well could have been finished on several occasions. The Davey Grant fight, he almost got the sub. The Rob Font fight, the ref could have stopped the fight on 50 different occasions in that matchup. Like, when he's winning decisions, he's destroying these guys. So, and then I look through Pedro Munoz's record, and Pedro Munoz is not fighting anybody dangerous at all. He's fighting a lot of grapplers. He's fighting a lot of strikers that don't have any power. This is going to be the most dangerous guy that Pedro Munoz has ever fought, and Munoz is now 36 years old. So something feels off. I mean, I think this fight probably goes to decision. It's probably close, probably split decision even, but if I'm correct about this, I mean, Marlon Vera 16-1 prop. I mean, I had to take a shot on that. So I did sprinkle the 2-3 for Marlon Vera. Round 2 plus 1150 quarter unit, and then plus 1,600 for round 3 quarter unit. At the very least, I know Marlon Vera is going to completely go after it like a madman in that late second, third round. So we'll see if those hit. I mean, it's hard to ignore a 16-1 third round Marlon Vera prop. This guy's one of the best fighters in that third round and one of the worst fighters in the first round. It's kind of weird, but give me Marlon Vera 2-3. I was looking at maybe Munoz by decision plus 225, Munoz split decision, the split decision props, but every time I play a split decision prop, the fight finishes, so I stopped playing those. So give me those Vera round 2, round 3 sprinkles, taking some long shot props there. Moving on, we got Mario Batista going against Damon Blackshear. So Damon Blackshear showed up today, and he made weight, and he looked good, which I think is very interesting. I was kind of concerned about the double weight cut. It wasn't at a catch weight, which I thought was odd, and he showed up. He looked good. So, yeah, if we get the best version of Blackshear, which we may be getting, he's very live to win this fight. He's super dangerous. Mario Batista has been finishing both of his losses, one by knockout, one by submission. Blackshear's a dangerous black belt on the mat. So a lot of people are taking a shot on Blackshear. I disagreed with it prior to the weigh-ins, but after the weigh-ins, I I like it a little bit more. You know, I don't hate a dog or pass shot here on Blackshear, but I'm super high on Batista. I really am. I think this guy has top 15 upside, so I'm a lot higher on Batista than most are. But after seeing Blackshear make weight, it just also makes me want to stay away from Batista even more than I already did, because, you know, Blackshear is no joke, and, you know, I thought this double weight cut might take a toll on him. I really thought he'd miss weight, but he went out there and made weight look good doing so. The play I do like here is the under. I was actually really surprised to see the under was at plus money, to be honest. For the way these guys fight, I mean, Mario Batista, I think 6 of his 8 UFC fights have finished under 2.5 rounds. And then for Blackshear, it's 204, 50%. So to see the under at plus money, I had to hop on that for just one unit. Under 2.5 rounds, plus 100. I think it's going to be just a car crash. You know, for what it's worth, Blackshear predicted like a first round knockout. I think Blackshear is going to go all out in the first round, and he may hurt Batista. We saw Trevin Jones knock out Batista. He may submit Batista. We've seen Batista submitted before. I just think as long as this fight goes on, Batista is going to start to take over, because we have seen Blackshear slow down. More so concerning in the Zalal fight, which is the Zalal fight as well was on short notice, and Yusuf Zalal, who is now cut, he went out there and just 10-8'd Blackshear. The fight probably could have been stopped, and it was almost stopped. So I think it's both these guys can honestly finish early. Batista's finished his last 3 fights, I think, in the first round. I think both guys are going to be dangerous wherever the fight goes. I like violence here. It's going to be an absolute car crash. Give me the under at plus money. Was shocked it was plus money, especially with the whole Blackshear double weight cut. Moving on, we have Ian Gary going against Neil Magny. Couple spots I like here. So I bet the fight ends by knockout. 1.25 units at plus 105. Why didn't I bet Ian Gary by knockout, you ask? Well, it was about the same price, and in some books even had Gary by knockout at like minus 110. So I bet the fight ends by knockout, 1.25 units at plus 105. And then I also sprinkled very small Gary round 2 sub, 0.15 units plus 2,300. And then Gary round 3 sub, 0.10 units plus 4,500. I think the KO is more likely, and if Gary does KO Magny, it's going to be a little bit over a unit win. But Magny has been submitted a ton in his career, 6 times, so it would not shock me if there was like a club and sub situation, but I do think Gary probably does knock him out here. I like the Gary knockout prop. I like the fight ends by KO even more because it's like the same price, but like I said, I also sprinkled those 2-3 subs just in case. I think Gary inside the distance, minus 135, is a very good look this week. I don't like Neil Magny's chances in this one. Moving on to the co-main event. So right off the bat, I mean, this is probably the most I've ever beat a line on the co-main event and main event. So typically when the sports books like DraftKings and FanDuel and all these open up props, they're like wrong most of the time. And DraftKings opened up the fight doesn't go to decision in this matchup at minus 150. And then we'll talk about the main event where they opened up the fight doesn't go at plus 100. Somebody hits me up on Twitter. Shout out to Snoop. Hit me up on Twitter. And he's like, you know, do you like he's like something along the lines of they have the fight doesn't go at like minus 150. So right then and there, and I didn't tape the fight yet, which typically I like to tape the fight first before I place a bet. But these lines stuck out so much that I had to put some on it. And I wish I would have researched them prior because it would have been a max bet. So I have 3 units riding my biggest play on the fight doesn't go the distance at minus 150. Obviously that line has moved so much. And like I said, I probably beat more line movement than I ever had. And I think I deserve this trophy, the closing line value trophy, for what it's worth. But at this point, you can't recommend the fight doesn't go decision other than a parlay piece. I think this finishes at a high clip, but what I would recommend at this point would be the under 3.5 rounds. I think somebody's getting served here early. I think the fight won't start round 4. I think it ends within the first 3 rounds here. So give me violence in the co-main event. Under 3.5 at this point is probably my favorite spot. And I also didn't mind like the fight ends by sub, but it just got crushed throughout the week. I mean, it was like plus 450 at one point, and it just got completely crushed. So give me the violence. I'm on the fight doesn't go for 3 units, my biggest play of the night, but that line got steamed, and rightfully so. I mean, it was just a wrong line. Moving on to the main event. So yeah, DraftKings as well opened up the fight doesn't go at plus 125. They opened up the fight doesn't go at plus 125, went to like plus 115. I was able to get it at plus 100 for 2 units. And yeah, I like that spot quite a bit. Obviously, the lines moved not a ton as the co-main event, but the lines moved quite a bit. I still think violence is the answer here. Under 3.5, under 4.5, I like quite a bit. I think are very much in play. I think this fight honestly finishes pretty early. I think if Sterling takes the back of O'Malley, the fight's going to be over shortly after. I think if Sterling's able to take down O'Malley, get on top, secure position, he can very well finish the fight. And then obviously if O'Malley's able to stuff the takedowns, keep this at range, I think O'Malley's very live to knock out Aljamain Sterling. So just like the co-main event, I think somebody's getting served here in this one. And I like violence as well. So fight doesn't go for the main event. Fight doesn't go for the co-main event. Ian Gary inside the distance. Mario Batista under 2.5. Some Vera sprinkles. Tavares sprinkles. Rodriguez sprinkles. So yeah, lots of big sprinkles this week. I'm only laying chalk on 2 spots, which is the Marina Moroz decision only, and then the fight doesn't go in the Zhang Wei Li Amanda Lemos fight. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down your props down below. Let me know what you like. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and best of luck for UFC 292. We'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.